Tesla update here in the second. So Tesla has been very tricky lately. I think it's in some kind of corrective move, and that's why it's been so tricky. So I basically erased everything that I've been talking about. I got rid of this contracting wedge, which is why did I get rid of that? Well, first of all, we broke above this, came outside by about 10 bucks. Secondly, I was looking for this. It was a perfect setup to do this, or come down here at least. But instead, we get the earnings, and it shoots up and breaks above the top of here. I was looking at this as like a first wave down, but we invalidated that. So for those two reasons, I don't see this as a contracting wedge anymore. So at that point, I just kind of erase everything and go back to the drawing board. And this is definitely an ABC move. This is definitely an ABC move. This is basically what I think is the bottom right here, 140. And then I'm looking at this right here. This looks like an A wave to me for sure. And then we get this move down, and then we get a corrective move up, and now we're just going back and forth. So I think overall, if this whole thing is ABC, I think we're in the B wave. Some kind of B wave, and we're going to get this eventually. How is it going to play out, though? And actually, one more thing. So if you take parallel line here, takes us to 409 about. Look where the 1.61 fib of this is. Literally the same spot, 410. So I do think that we're in a B wave. So then when I'm looking at this, if I zoom in here, it doesn't really make that much sense to me either. Could it be that this is just a B wave right here? And we're starting a C wave down? Maybe, but this doesn't really make that much sense to me either, because this B wave was a lot shorter in time length than this. So I don't really see this as an ABC move like that. So I don't know. This part right here is kind of tricky. And another thing too is if we're going to come down here, this looks like a 5-wave move to me, but it was really kind of a weird way to end this wave right here. It was kind of like an ABC move. I guess it could be a diagonal. So I'm not sure what to make of this right now either. The thing that makes the most sense to me after going through all of it is this basically. I think we're probably like in the beginning stages of a triangle in which this is basically flat. It's a little bit, this one a little bit higher than this. And then we're starting this A wave right here in which the C wave could go down to here. We have a gap down at 214. I think that gap can get hit. That would end up being a C wave. And then you can see where this is going. Something like this. It makes the most sense to me. So this would actually end up looking like A, B, and then C like that. And then that would complete the overall B wave, or it could turn into the diagonal. It could turn into this as well. So yeah, this doesn't really make that much sense to come down here now. If this would have been a first wave, I could have said, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. But instead, we shoot right past it and go up here. Not only that, but we also broke the top of this. So could it be that this is the end of the B wave and we're starting a 5-wave move down? But then this doesn't look very impulsive to me either. So that's kind of why I've narrowed it down to basically some kind of triangle playing out here. A B wave triangle, and then we'll eventually get a C wave up. And that can complete the Y wave up here. And potentially could turn into a diagonal up. Could be 5 waves up as well. If it's a WXY, then you're looking for another wave down. Whoops. If it's a diagonal, then you're ending up the 5th wave. So that's what I see on Tesla. This could play out over a bunch of different months. And of course, there's going to be invalidations on this. This is basically a speculation based on what I've narrowed it down to, but I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I would say that this gap will get filled, though, at some point. If we get a correction in the market, which we're probably going to. It just needs to drop, like close to 20%, I guess. But I think this gap can get filled. Who knows how it'll work out, like that, and then we come up here, and then we break out. So this could take all the way to early next year. If you watch my Apple video, which maybe was only on members only, I talked about how Apple is likely to go higher and then come down later or early in 2025 and then shoot up to the moon, basically. So I could be wrong on Tesla too. Maybe it ends up going up here somehow and then comes back down later in early 2025 and then goes up. So we'll see what happens with Tesla. That's what I got. I think that 410 is the overall target for the next move higher, but you're probably going to see a 214 gap fill before that.